Yeah, yeah. What it do? It's the one and only Dave Noodlez. It's a beautiful Wu-Tang Wednesday up in Shaolin. It's the 15th of May. Things have been going great. I can't believe I missed my last episode. It's the first episode I missed in close to 2 years. Last 2 weeks ago. So it's good to be back. I left with a good reason. Had to go out to the West Coast to bring back some good memories and vibes to the East Coast and my Shaolin family. But here we are, back in business. And speaking of business, since we're back in business, it was only right to get a dude who's strictly about his business. Every time I turn on the gram, it's crazy because sometimes you see people on the gram and you're like, are they really doing all that in real life? You see this guy, he's actually doing triple than what he's posting on the gram. So there's that like URL and then that IRL. And when it comes to IRL in real life, this guy's the real deal. So I got the one and only Mike Loco in the building. What up, man?
Hey, what's going on, Dave? Thanks for having me up here.
Good to have you, bro. So it's been quite a journey for you. I know we met almost 10 years ago.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we
totally different. Totally different realm that we met, but we are where we are today now.
Yeah. The subject was similar. We were just doing different things. For the joy of the youth and people that maybe had a hard time during Sandy, it was good to collaborate years ago.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
It's great to see how things have evolved since then. And so I know you're into the music game now. Maybe you could tell me a little bit how you even got into this game.
Well, I used to be heavily involved many moons ago. I got some years on you guys, so
Word.
Going back about maybe 20, 21 years ago, I was heavy into the music game. I was helping out the Real Roxanne, and we were doing a whole lot of things. I was dabbling in everything in the entertainment industry, whether it was acting, modeling, casting. If it had anything to do with entertainment, I was putting my hat in the ring. I fully believe that if you want to do something, you have to fully educate and put yourself in as many situations as possible to achieve what you're trying to do. Don't sit back and wait for someone else to do it for you.
Word.
I became a father, stepped away. It was like, you know what? I'm about to be a single dad. I got to have more time on my hands, step up, be the dad role. So I gave up what I was doing to pursue my second dream of being, a father.
Nice.
Full circle comes around, my son decides he's going to start making music, I let him do it on his own for a bit, let him take his lumps to see if it was just going to be like everyone else that, there's a lot of people that record a song or two, but they don't have what it takes to really make it in the business. They want something to just happen for them, and if it doesn't happen, they go on about it and they give up on it quick. When I seen him take his lumps and still wanting to get up and come back for more, I was like, all right, now we're going to take this serious. So, I jumped and took the reins and went on his management. And I've just been, doing what I do best. I'm a hustler through and through. I mean, it doesn't matter what the product is, I'm going to make it move. And that's just the mentality you got to have. You can't let anyone tell you what you're able to do. Exactly. You got to show them what you are capable of.
Exactly.
So
I just see, anyone kind of pursuing a goal or a dream, there's never really, there's all these YouTube videos, and then, we turn on like Gary Vee or Tony Robbins, and, you get motivated, but how does someone even like navigate in this crazy game?
Well, the thing is this, everyone always looks at what they want to do, and they're focusing on the end game and what's going to come from the end game and how lit that's going to be and how much fun that's going to be. But they're ignoring the fact of how much fun the come up to get there actually is. Word. Enjoy the steps, enjoy the moments, enjoy the progression. Like, same way you like, people will be on the Instagram, be like, yo, follow my story, this, that, and the third, watch me work, watch me come up. The same way they're enjoying that, you got to sit back and believe your own words. And sometimes a lot of people just want to fast forward past that and not pat themselves on the back or give themselves credit for every little thing they do in progression, and they don't realize how much fun the come up is.
Exactly.
Like, everyone's tasted success in one way, shape, or form. But if you skip what took you there to get to the success, you take it for granted. You
Exactly.
forget what it took you to get there. So if you're not taking that time to appreciate and learn and educate and really just soak in every moment, you might get it prematurely and not know what to do with it. And then it'll be gone before you got it. So
It's
that's
real.
very important.
No, it's real, man. Because I had my share of music pursuing, and from doing it, it kind of helped me figure out my next goal. And people have even asked me, like, yo, Dave, are you going to get back into the music? And I'm like, I'm probably more involved with music than I've ever been. I'm just not making it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm truly a fan now, which is like kind of brought me back to the essence of like being a young person here in music. I just kind of had to find my lane. And, as people even ask me now, like, okay, so what's the next thing? You're going to open a store? And I'm like, to be honest, I'm setting new goals, but they're kind of small because I got to hit these little goals to get to these next big goals.
Hmm. And it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Exactly.
There's no set pace of when you have to get this done.
Exactly.
And sometimes when you don't put yourself under the putting that own foot on your own back, sometimes it happens quicker than you expected because you're not setting unrealistic goals for yourself.
Yeah.
If you sit there and say, "Oh, in 6 months I got to be doing this," good chance it's not going to take 6 months.
Exactly.
So then what do? You're supposed to just like pack it up and throw it all away
Yeah,
in 6
yeah,
months? No,
exactly.
because in 7 months it might have been that magic number.
Exactly.
Don't set a timeline. Just set the work ethic.
Exactly. So of course, you see these musicians. They're performing on stage, but how much % of the hustle is the performance? Like besides, what's all the other like?
I mean,
How many?
the performance, it's a big percentage because if you're taking the performance the right way, anyone can go up on a stage with a microphone, clear their nerves, and start speaking on a microphone. But it's how you perform. Like the key word is the performance.
Exactly.
Working the stage, making the connection. Being able to pick out people in the crowd that you want to make sure you connect with to pull them in. So a big part of the performance is the work you put in behind the scenes before you're even on the stage. Choreograph routines, practice, handling the mic. It's not as simple as just holding the mic and putting it to your mouth. I've seen a lot of people that mess even that up because they don't understand how to hold the mic, where
Yep.
the distance, how close to the mic, and then they sound marbled or, they buffle the sound. But I mean, performing, depending on where you're at in your career, performing isn't as much of the percentage as people would think.
Exactly.
There's a lot more hustle and grind. There's a lot more of the unfun stuff. Music, the glitz and glamour that you see, everywhere else, that's only about 15% of it, man.
Yeah.
85% of that, like people forget that the second word in this industry is business. It's music business. It's a job. You got to work for this. If you think it's just going to be handed to you, you better be an Excelsior talent like Michael Jackson. You better make Michael Jackson look like he's bad because nothing's going to be handed to you. And for everyone that thinks they're dope, there's literally 20 people within a 50-mile radius that are just as dope, if not better, that are willing to work just as hard. So if you're not willing to put the work in, they're going to go to the people that are. You got to pay your dues. You got to understand the business. You need to educate yourself on everything that's going on and just learn your niche and swallow your pride. People don't want to talk to DJs. People don't want to, show people respect. It's like, well, listen, if you just started making music, you want respect. Like, who knows you?
Exactly.
You have to earn your respect. At the same time, you got to give respect to get respect. You don't got a brown nose. You don't got to kiss ass. But at the end of the day, like, you do got to, tip your hat a little bit and swallow your pride a little bit when you're talking to certain people, and just understand that. Approach them differently and make yourself stick out. And the way you're going to do that is not doing the same basic thing that everyone else does. If you approach a DJ, hey, play my music, I'm next up. Oh, I haven't heard that today about 100 times.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
don't even talk about that. If you're meeting a DJ and you're performing somewhere, let your music speak for yourself. And then when you're going to have a conversation, get to know the DJ and introduce yourself and who you are, the person, the artist. They don't need to hear you repeat what they just heard on the stage.
Exactly.
And if you're going to email them music, email it to them. But then don't sit there and harass them because, trust me, just because they didn't get to it when you thought, or if they didn't play it, it's not that they didn't check the email. It just might not be their vibe. Research what the lanes are that these DJs are. And if they're not playing the kind of music you play, don't get mad that they don't play your music because you
Yeah,
should have
yeah.
did your research.
Exactly.
You know, and it's just it's
And a lot of
it's a
DJs
lot of
can't
work.
even play the song necessarily. There's like program directors. There's sometimes.
Oh, besides that,
Yeah, yeah.
what about like let's see, you're sending it to a commercial radio station, but you have 74 curses in the track. You didn't bother to send them a clean track. So you think that
Delete
DJ that
automatic.
doesn't know you from a hole in the wall is going to sit there and censor your record for you? Yeah, good.
Matt Hardy.
Keep
delete,
waiting.
Delete.
Keep waiting, bro. Exactly. Like he gets enough submissions. He doesn't need to go out of his way to make extra effort to play your song when he's got an inbox of 300 other people's songs that sent him the clean track. You know?
So, you know, as an independent artist, I see the constant. People often complain. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to pay for shows." What's kind of your outlook on that in terms of making it worth it?
Listen, it's a necessary evil.
Yeah.
Until people know who you are, you're not going to get paid to perform. Unless it's like a friend of yours or your aunt was like, you know what? Come play a little Tito's 16th birthday and, you know, we'll throw you $50. At the end of the day, if you are unknown, no one's paying you. I don't care. Get off your high horse. I don't care how popular you were in high school. This isn't high school no more. You're in a whole new world. And part of getting that stage presence is going out to the open mics. You don't got to pay hundreds of dollars for slot fees up first, because if you ain't selling tickets, if you can't sell at least 10 to 15 tickets to make back the money for the beginning pay to performs, you know, you should be doing the open mics. Go to Williamsburg, go to like, you know, in Brooklyn, Sound Series. Then Stereotype has a freestyle series every the last Thursday of every month. You know, there's platforms out there for you to get yourself out there, to get the ring rust off, to learn how to be on a microphone, to perform in front of people.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you hit these open mics and these, you know, able open events that can let you be spread around and people to find out who you are, you start building yourself up. You start building a fan base. And then after you do a couple of the pay to performs, you're going to start getting the free to performs. And then after the free to performs, it's going to lead to you to getting booked. You have to put the work in. You don't get hired at McDonald's straight out of high school as a manager.
Exactly.
You're dropping the fries in the grease, my man. And if you don't like that, you better play the lotto and cross your fingers a whole lot.
Yeah, yeah. I feel that, man. Yeah, I think those shows could definitely be utilized. You know, you don't maybe do 3 every week, you know, but
No.
you do the one at SOBs, you get that footage, you know what I mean?
It's all about building an EPK. It's all about showing, you know,
Building
work
that
on
momentum.
social media. I mean, everything is perception. And at the end of the day, until you're known and until your email is buzzing or your phone is getting text messages and people want you to come perform at their shows, you have to introduce yourself to the public. And that costs money. So if you're broke and you're stingy and you don't want to spend no money and you're not willing to invest in yourself, don't expect anyone else to invest in you. They're not going to do it first.
That's real. That's definitely real.
But again, do your research, because there are scams out there. But if there's a way that you can go and in the very, very beginning, you know, when we first started out, you know, pay to perform, got tickets, sold the tickets, made our money back and then some, made a profit. Turn a pay to perform into a profitable thing, you know. Most cases, they'll give you enough tickets to make your money back and then some.
Exactly.
You know, and then they're also offering with these pay to performs, you got to look at the value outside of money. If they got a high definition, you know, photographer, if they're getting you high definition video footage,
Yeah.
all that's counted into the package, then you're dealing with a good promoter that's at least saying, listen, you're paying for your slot because we don't have faith in you to draw people. You're paying for your slot because we have to cover the venue. But in return, here's some footage, here's some professional grade quality photos that would have cost you $200-$300 anyway.
Exactly.
So do your homework and know what you're getting.
Exactly.
Don't just go to like some of the, you know, I have no shame, so I'll say it. Don't go to the things like Coast to Coast where they're charging you $300-$400 to perform, and it's a hip hop competition. But then some guy that's playing, you know, an acoustic guitar that you would hear on 42nd Street wins the competition, and then the judges were relevant in music 22 years ago, and they're trying to sell you studio time.
Yeah.
Clearly, that's not the same thing. They don't give you tickets to sell. It's just give us your money, draw people out, and good luck, because it's a fugazi competition. You know, stay away from competition-based shows. You want to get into the showcases where it's just showcasing talent. You want to get into the opening acts. You want to work your way into being a headliner. And then once you build your buzz and you put the work into building your buzz, the show opportunities will come.
That's real.
You know, like we've done it from August to now. Yeah, we did a bunch of paid performs in the very beginning. We don't pay for slots no more.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very, very rare that we pay for a slot, and if we are going to pay for a slot, it's got to make sense.
Exactly.
You know, and we're also not going to pay for a slot where we're just on a showcase. We're either going to be an opener or a headliner, and usually when we're a headliner, we haven't had to pay for a slot yet because people are emailing us because we put in the work.
And you're bringing 30, 40 people, and
You know,
pays for
it all
itself.
depends. Sometimes
yeah.
they don't even care if we're bringing people in. They just know that when Miggs touches the stage and the work, they've been to a few shows and they see the footage, he gives a stellar performance. So whatever crowd they're bringing in, they want their crowd entertained, and they know that we're going to bring that entertainment to the stage. And that's the whole point of this business. It's not about making, you know, oh, I make a lit song and now I got a whole bunch of money. No, it's about entertaining the crowd, making memorable moments. So they know when MLM Entertainment walks into the building, whether it's Drew York or whether it's Make 718, they're going to be entertained on that stage. So they want us back in the building because people leave there and say, hey, I enjoyed myself. So until people
real.
can say that about you, open your checkbook, swipe your Cash App, and swallow your damn pride.
no, that's real, man. And I think I see this. It's almost, you know, not to diss anyone, but they know me. Get your merch up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
these days,
We haven't
most
even
of the
started
time,
merch, man.
no one really sells the music the way they used. You know, if it's a vinyl, there's certain moments where you cop it. You know, like Eddie I dropped the album. I had to cop that album.
Yeah,
You know what I
shouts
mean?
to Eddie I.
That's probably the last album I bought because I've completely
Stay
almost
tuned for some Eddie I and Make 718.
word.
Quite a bit of it. Stay tuned.
And you know, special moments you buy the album, but most of the time, especially when I meet someone in the street, a lot of the time I was in LA and a guy was like, "Yo, man, here's my project," or whatever,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yo, man, could I have your Spotify?" And he was like, "Could you just buy the project?" I'm like, "I don't, you know what I mean? I don't even buy my friends' albums. Like I
Yeah.
stream their stuff, I play. I was
Mhm.
like, let me just get it. Your Spotify, this is where it all starts. I was like, I'll follow you on the gram too,
Yeah.
and
We
you
don't,
know, get
we
that
don't even
merch
go
up.
the route of CDs because honestly, no one's really got a CD player no
Exactly.
more. Some people that have
SoundCloud
CD
link
players
and-
don't even remember they have CDs. You know, it's all about promoting what's relevant now. What's the
Exactly.
main
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
If you got the extra income and you want to print some CDs and you want to sit there and target certain fan bases that still might want CDs and you got the expendable income, by all means, print some CDs up. But at the end of the day, as an independent artist, you have to spend wisely. And if you can, the bigger numbers are in the streaming, then invest in maybe some cards with your VR code on the back of it. So when you're walking around, instead of trying to push a CD, you give them a card for free where right on the back they can just scan with their phone, beep, and your whole Spotify playlist is there. You know, and
That's
even if
real.
they don't buy the songs, they're streaming them. You know, and if they really want to support, because a lot of people like to support, because every Staten Island artist, not only do I stream, I go and I buy every song because it's all about support. You know, and then
Does
you build that network.
Does Apple Music even let you do that? Did they like completely do away with iTunes yet?
No, they didn't do away with iTunes yet, but I just know it's easier for as far as the VR codes. Plus, for any artist, you want to get your Spotify numbers up more than you want your iTunes numbers up. Because
Yeah, 'cause
there's a
it's
lot
visible.
more public data. Yeah, it's much more transparent. So that's what a lot of the A&Rs are looking at. 20 years ago, you know, I was one of those guys that sat in the back of the open mics discovering talent. Now they're in the living room looking at a laptop, looking at Spotify. They don't go to the open mics no more like that unless you're paying them to come out.
No, that's real, man.
You know.
The game is, you know, it's similar, but it's evolved in its own way. So just for someone who's just like puts their all into this, you know, the money is sometimes tricky. It sucks that it's sometimes even an issue.
Budgeting.
You know? Yeah. So like,
Get a regular job,
you
set
have
aside
you
a
have to bite the
music
bullet.
budget.
You have to do the fucking Kanye work
You
at the
know.
Gap type thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, Miggs was working at the vape shop forever. He was doing some landscaping. Like, he has to generate income because, like I said, some of these bookings, you'll get the booking for free, but you got to get yourself there. Travel, you know, we're not at that point where everyone's willing to pay for the travel yet.
Exactly.
You know, and it's just, you're going to get there. You're going to climb those steps. But at the end of the day, how bad do you want it? Do you want to make excuses? Or do you want to Go get a job, budget your time, budget your money, and really do this. If you're looking for a get rich quick scheme, or you're looking for, that magic moment or that lottery ticket, there's better things to try and do. Go buy a scratch off. It's cheaper and still the same odds.
That's real stuff, man.
$5 win for life, or go spend $200 on some quality studio time and some promotion and everything else. Some people would rather spend the $5, but at the end of the day, if you got that same mentality that you're hoping that one scratch is going to make you win for life, it's cheaper to go to the deli. This ain't the business for you, Chief. It ain't.
No, real talk, man. And I was saying this to someone today. They were like, well, this guy, I'm working with him. He's a little shy or whatever. He doesn't really want to, like, go out there. And I was like, I feel like the music will push through. How do you feel about being open, you got to interact with lots of people? Do you think it's just the music could get you over, regardless of how personal you are? Do you think you need a little bit of everything?
I think if someone is shy and they really have a talent, they need to utilize the open mics. They got to just basically go out there and as many times as possible, build up that thick skin and go perform in front of people. Get the feedback, feel the energy. Start to love opening up. The music, if they really mean it and they're really in this for the right reason, they're going to become infectious. Like, they're going to want to feel that energy. They're going to want to connect with people. So they're going to constantly, the more and more they do these open mics and these other situations where they have the chance to perform in front of people and kind of face their fear head on, if it's meant to be and it's really for them, that's the way to crack that. Don't ever force yourself to, okay, well, you know what? There's this performance opportunity and I'm really not sure, but I'm going to go drop the money and do this slot fee and go. No, there's no need for that. Put the work in. Practice. Perform in front of a couple of friends in the living room. From there, go to like an open mic situation. From there, go to a bigger open mic situation. There's plenty of opportunities and there's plenty of information out there. And basically get your legs under you. And if you still can't do it at that point, then you have to make a decision. Like, this is a very in-your-face, non-shy industry. So if you can't get past that after X amount of things, a lot of times the people are just going to make their own decision and say, you know what, this ain't for me. I don't have what it takes. That doesn't mean they have to quit music. That just means they can't handle being in the limelight. They can write, they can produce, they can do behind-the-scenes stuff. They can write music for someone else who's not afraid to be in front. So don't be discouraged by what you can and can't do. Figure out what you can do. Figure out what you don't want to do, what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with, and attack those lanes. Just like you said yourself, you kind of found your lane and this is what you're going to do. Nothing's written in the stars for you. You could change your stars. It's just a matter of what do you feel comfortable with.
It's just crazy out there because, mental health is a crazy, people deal with it. And some people get anxiety and stress, or they dealt with things as a youth, and like now they're trying to step out of that. What would you recommend to someone who maybe they deal with anxiety, or maybe they deal with
like I said,
mental health stress?
They could try some open mics, or they could try like family gatherings. Call 10 or 15 family members and friends over. Plug a mic into a little auxiliary port. And put on a small performance just for friends and family where you feel safe. See how you feel. If you feel comfortable. If you're comfortable with that, go to stage 2. Go to like Stereotypes Open Cypher. Go to the Hop Shops Open Cypher, or whatever neighborhood or town you're in. Find those open mics that it's a more calm, comfortable setting. And if you still don't feel comfortable at that point, then link up with some artists and just say, listen, you know what? I'm not with all the glitz and glam, I'm not with all the attention, but I do got something to say. I do have beautiful talent, beautiful music writing ability. Ghostwrite. Find someone with a beautiful voice who doesn't know how to write songs, and you work together, you start together, and someone who's comfortable with it, someone that can be the voice piece for your mind.
Word.
There's nothing discouraging about it. Just know what your strengths and weaknesses are and apply them.
That's real. What would you recommend to someone who's like not so blessed in terms of, maybe having a dad that is there for them, or, maybe they're on their own and they don't really have much of a job and they're trying to make this music too. Like, I know a few people like that, and they're like, what could they do?
All right. Well,
They
growing up myself,
Yeah.
I didn't have a father. My mother was very much not in the picture either. I pretty much had to raise myself. So, and I'm not going to sit there and unfairly say, listen, if I did it, you do it.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you don't have a job, go get one. Like, keep applying. Don't be discouraged. Like, at the end of the day, we need money to survive. You got to pay your cell phone bill. You got to pay this. You got to pay that. And even again, to music, there's fees. You got to pay for your distribution. You got to pay for your publishing. You got to pay for so many things. You got to pay for cover art, studio time. Like, this is not a cheap,
Yep.
entrepreneur thing that you're getting yourself into.
Exactly.
So if you don't have a job, get one. And don't try to skip the steps. Like I said, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. People want to rush and hurry up and be like, you know what? Music's going to change my life. If I drop one hot song, I'm going to be a millionaire. That's not the case. That's so far from the truth, it's not even funny. There's hardly any money, especially even if you drop one hot song. 1 million streams is $7,700. So even if you get a hot song that gets 1 million streams, that's $7,700. That's less than $10,000. That's not a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
It may sound like a lot of money.
Maybe 3 months income, maybe.
But it's literally not a lot of
Depending
money.
where you live.
It's what you do and you take that and it's going to snowball if it continues. But then you're going to have another hot song to follow it up. But before you can even get to that song that's going to get to 1 million streams, you're going to spend at least $1,000 to get a quality song, quality mixing and mastering, quality studio time, maybe a visual, promotion on Instagram, promotion on this, that, and the third, whatever the case may be. So at the end of the day, with all the money you put in, and if you're putting out a couple of songs, that $7,700 almost becomes a reimbursement than a profit.
It's real.
Unless you somehow get what looks lucky, but a lot of times these guys that just pop up out of nowhere and they will put money in behind the scenes, and they got able to get put in front of the right people because they paid for an opportunity. Or there was definitely money changing hands.
Yep.
And a significant amount of money, to get the right eyes and ears on it so quickly without you having a name, you're paying for that meeting.
Yeah.
And it's not cheap. They may not talk about it. I'm kind of breaking the rules here, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
Like, sure, if we wanted to get a certain, certain label meeting or whatever, I'm sure we could drop $5-10 grand and get that meeting too. But we don't have $5-10 grand for that, so we got to do it the harder way, where we're still spending money and we're putting in the work, and that's what I suggest to anyone to do. If you ain't coming from a lot of money, you don't have a father, you don't need. Does it help to have someone persuasive and inspiring behind you? Yeah, but at the end of the day, the only person you need is the person you look at in the mirror. Believe in yourself. You don't need reassurance from anyone else to believe in yourself. It's self-esteem, It's self-control, it's self-motivation. Everything starts with you. So don't depend on no one. Don't listen to no one to tell you this, that, and the third. If you believe in it and you feel like you got it and you can see the reaction of people, just go out and do it. And if you don't got a job, go get a job and swallow your pride. Oh, you're too good to flip burgers?
DoorDash that shit.
But you know what? That cell phone bill ain't caring if you're flipping burgers or if you're trading stocks. They want their bill. At the end of the day, make your money. Make your money as legally and honestly as you can possibly, and everything's just going to be a step. You might have to flip burgers for a little while. You might get a better job opportunity down the road. You got to show work history. You're not going to be stuck there forever. But whatever you could do to generate income, to support yourself, and make the music stuff work, as well as take care of your bills and maybe help out wherever you got to help out, don't get discouraged. Like I said, there's no time limit. If you're 18, there's no guarantee you're going to pop with music by the time you're 21.
Truth.
But by 24, 25, you might, Then there's some people that 18, boom, by 19, they're already hitting. It's a crapshoot. You just can't, you got to keep grinding. You got to keep your eye on the prize and belief in yourself. And eventually, things are going to work out one way or another. Even if it's not the music, you might land a job that you didn't think you'd have, because of trying to make sure you stayed working to support your music, and you end up in a good role and you end up becoming a manager or something.
Exactly.
So, you need one for the other.
Yeah, I always say this, like, I could read anything. I'm like, oh, this book's cool, or I saw this YouTube, but I'm like, I really don't learn anything until I actually do something. And I deal with either the pain of it not working or the pain of figuring it out or like the joy of figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I am. There's times where I'm like, all right, I could listen to Gary Vee right now, but I'm like,
But is that
20 minutes,
necessarily
those 20 minutes,
like,
I could listen for 5 and then let me go do the thing that I'm being told.
But it's not even that. Just because Gary Vee, for example, he finds things at garage sales and and makes valuable things. He's telling you the successes. That what most people don't realize is a lot of people don't share their failures or how many wrong items he had to buy before he found a good item. So that's not necessarily may not be your niche. Like you don't just because you see Gary Vee doesn't mean you should go run out and start buying shit at garage sales. Because like I said, people love to share their successes, but they never post their losses. They never post their failures. And it's okay. And you have to be smart enough to know, like, there's no way anyone has a successful anything all the time.
Exactly.
And if you believe that, I got 3 bridges that surround Staten Island for sale for the low. Hit me on my inbox.
Real talk. Yeah, no, it's true. No, definitely.
So just because you see someone succeeding at one thing, let their grind be the motivation, but not what they're actually doing because it may not be for you.
Exactly.
Their grind could be, you could apply that to something else. Just take the work ethic, look at how hard they're working for it. That's what you should be focusing on, not what they're actually doing, because again, that may not be for you.
No, that's real. That's definitely real. I just have to like actually do things, and I see success. I spend a lot of time thinking about.
Well, it also depends on what people consider success.
Exactly.
What is success? Is success money? Because I don't think so.
To me, it's being available anytime my family needs me or anyone I care about needs me.
Success seems to me more like it's an idea.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, success is when something works out the right way. It doesn't have a monetary value.
Exactly.
So if you set out to do a 50-piece jigsaw puzzle and you finished it, success.
Yeah.
It may not be big success or it may not be monumental things, but at the end of the day, it's still success. And just because if you tell me, hey, Loco, I just finished this 50-piece puzzle, I might look at you like, that's cool. But at the end of the day, it meant a lot to you.
Exactly.
So why would you let me determine your level of success?
Exactly.
Why would you give me that power?
No, that's real. I agree.
Again, people worry too much on people's opinions and what other people think. Goes back to what I said before. Worry about yourself. Stop trying to impress other people. Be happy with yourself, impress yourself. And then others are going to just start to learn to feed off that energy. And that's it. If you're pompous and you're egotistical, ain't no one going to care if you're successful or not because your negative energy is pushing them away and they start rooting for you to lose anyway.
It's real. Definitely. No,
people care too much about the wrong things.
Yeah, I was thinking about. I always think about the internet because I'm always on it, and I'm just like, this is like, literally, it's like a protein shake, but like if you have 50 of them, you do not feel good.
No.
And you have gas. You're like on a date. You have gas because of all the. It's like what?
You got that constipation phase.
But you could use it when you're about to go to the gym, when you're about to go do something, and it boosts. You know what I mean? Like it can't be,
But
it can't be everything. There's doing to it. There's a whole lot of doing that it involves to even talk about what. Like all the people on YouTube, they're not just on YouTube. They're doing lots of things. These guys are to even know how to talk about the toy for an hour. You know what I mean?
Well, it just goes
to people doing research.
It's the same thing. If you want to get into this music business, it's like if you were going to apply for a job at Barnes and Nobles, or we'll say Payless. All right? If you just walk in there blind and you have no knowledge of shoes, you're just like everyone else. But now if you sat there and researched, okay, these are the shoes that Payless specializes in. These are the up and down times of when the sales go up. This, like communion season, this, that, and you start having knowledge. So you go into the store and you sit with the manager and you know what you're doing and you already have an idea and you're familiar with the history of the store and the product that they sell. You have a better chance of succeeding in getting that job than you do to someone who just walked in and said, hey, I saw you were hiring. Well, do you have any experience? No. Do you know anything about us? No. Who do you think is going to get the look for that job?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that goes with anything. It's the same thing: music, entertainment, pizza. If you want to be a cook, you know, you got to learn what temperature boils water best. I mean, if you want to start learning how to cook, what knives are sharper. Like, people just worry about, oh, look at these knives, they look nice. And look at these pots, they look cool. But what can you do with those
What can you
knives
do
and
with them?
pots?
Exactly.
Do you know what temperature is gonna be too hot to cook certain things at? It's gonna ruin it. What's gonna mess it up? You know, you're gonna research it. That's why there's schools for everything.
Yep. No, that's real, man. What's your take on rest and like sleep? Because to me, I'm very big on getting enough sleep. I have to stay up and do it, but I most of the time get everything done during the day. What's your take on
It's
hashtag no sleep or whatever?
Rest is very important, but I'd be a hypocrite if I sat here and told you that I get enough of it, because it's not the truth. Like,
Got it.
I'm constantly working, and sometimes if I'm dealing with people in different places, you know, they're 4 hours difference. You know, it depends on what you're doing. You know, and I find
Yeah.
myself, if I'm lucky, I get 3 4 hours of sleep.
Wow.
You know,
Really?
because I'm constantly working, but I'm doing the behind the scenes, the business aspect of things. But if I could definitely say, listen, if you can get your 8 hours sleep, do it, because you also end up wearing yourself down. You get sick, you know, and you know, good if you beat yourself up to the point where now
Yeah, yeah.
you need multiple days off instead of grinding for those extra few hours. You know, so I think the rest is very important, but I'd be lying if I said that I made it a main priority, because
Of course.
at the end of the day, certain opportunities aren't going to wait, and you kind of have to make yourself available. So
Yeah,
essentially,
yeah.
try to get as much rest as possible. And the days that you know you could sneak in that extra rest, take it for the days that you know you're going to be short. You know, and just try and compensate where you can.
It's true. It's weird, man, because a few years ago I was on some like work 90 hours a week and I didn't see anyone ever. Like it was like
Well, that's
Christmas.
also no fun either. Because, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, it
all
was
work and no play. Like, you can make all the money in the world if you got no time to enjoy any of it or spend any time with your family. Like, you're just a bot.
uh, that's what
You're
was
literally
happening.
just a
I was
robot.
I was
Like,
doing okay, but I was like I wasn't fulfilled and it's over been sometimes you have to get to a point where like maybe you have an employee doing the 20 hours that you would normally do. Like I'm blessed that I'm getting to those points where I'm hiring people for 20 hours, 40 hours a month, and it's me doing a little less and it's me more delegating the stuff I would normally do. So of course I couldn't just jump into that situation. I had to earn
nah.
even 80 hours, 100 hours a month to give
But
someone.
even then, I bet you spend at least 10 hours double checking what you got them doing just to make sure it was done right, the way Dave Noodles would do it.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Like now, like my brother and sister, they're always working, and I respect it. But like my mom's like, hey, it's Mother's Day. I'm always, you know what I mean? Any holiday, any special day, I'm like always there, and I kind of made it a goal. Like I want to be there. Like if I'm ever a father, I want to be there the way you are for your kid,
No, I
but I
appreciate
want to
that.
be also available too, the way like my mom was, and
Yeah.
it's probably gonna be tricky, probably gonna
Listen,
be a freaking
if you
Rubik's
set
cube,
rules for
but
yourself, you have to obey your own rules.
yeah,
And that's why I said, like, first and foremost, like, I'm a hypocrite. But, like, when it comes to holidays, yeah, I may allocate 2 hours to knocking out, answering some DMs or emails or whatever else. But after that, that's it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
the phone goes away. Like, I don't want to be bothered. And honestly, if people can't respect like, certain holidays, I don't want to do business with them anyway.
exactly,
There's someone else that I could be doing business with. So you don't worry that every opportunity isn't an opportunity meant to have.
exactly,
You know, it's all right to miss out on some. It's all right to ignore some. And people forget, like, back in the day when we did business, we didn't have these instant. It would be
exactly,
you'd text a beeper number, or you'd send a slow ass email, and you didn't have access to
exactly.
it until you actually got to a computer. So life used to work just as fine without having to
Yep.
answer within 30 seconds or a minute. So sometimes it's okay to make people wait. And
And
a lot more people are a little bit more understanding, especially if it's like, hey, we were having, holiday dinner.
exactly, yeah, yeah.
Prioritize.
What is kind of your flow? Maybe you're out with the fam, and you get a text or you see the DM. Do you take notifications off? Like how do you kind of find that peace? So when you're with your loved ones.
If I'm out and about, honestly, I love that little button on the side of my phone that shuts the ringer off, the ignore. And like I said, if there's things that come in when I'm done, like then I'll check it and I'll let them know, hey, listen, same way if I was trying to hit them up, if they were busy, they'd have their phone off. That understanding has to go both ways. And if I'm dealing with someone that's going to be half-assed about that, then I don't really need to deal with them. It's really not that big a deal. Like we make things bigger than they need to be.
Yeah, there's a certain piece to it. Like if I go to the movies with my pops, I'll turn my phone pretty much off.
Yeah, as you should.
And it's cool to just be there with that person for 2 hours.
That's not for nothing. It's like a $50 trip for two people to go to the movies now. I don't want you interrupting my $50, family date. My $20 nachos, my $20 ticket, my $8 soda. Right. Yeah, you're going to let me watch this 2 hour and 45-minute movie in some damn peace.
What was the last movie you seen?
Or you could cash at me and pay for my snacks, and maybe I'll turn on my notifications for you. Like,
what was the last movie you took the family to?
We went to see Avengers Endgame.
I've been meaning to go with my pops. Can't wait to go.
Bro, you haven't heard any spoilers yet? You've managed to...
So...
I waited. I got through the weekend, and I was like, nah, Monday night, it's getting sketchy, bro. Like, I almost got some spoilers. I was like, it's getting sketchy. I gotta go.
I've been pranking people. Like, I've been at parties or whatever, and I'm like, we'll be talking about it. I'll be like, I got a spoiler. And they'll be like, no, Noodles. I'm like, bro, don't worry. It's not too bad. And I'm like, bro, Captain America is in the movie. And they're like, come on, bro. So I've been like pranking people, but I haven't actually, it hasn't been spoiled for me yet.
Good. I avoided Facebook. Instagram, my Instagram doesn't really do like spoilers as much.
Yeah.
As much as Facebook.
Yeah,
Facebook is the king and queen of spoilers and shit like that. So I didn't even bother going on Facebook for days.
I know there's something about like the X-Men movie in it. That's all I know. But those movies are so long. I don't even remember the other one. So I may have to refresh.
You just rewatch the other one meanwhile.
Netflix. But that's real, man. No, I think I've been saying the word all the time. It's so key, balance. It's just...
Well, you also got to make time where you can. Like last night, we grabbed the disc out the red box and we watched Glass. And it was like, all right, everyone, phones go over there. We're watching this movie. No one, don't be bothered. Like the world is on pause. And you got to make use of those family moments because tomorrow's not guaranteed. And you want to make those moments matter,
Yeah, no, it's so true, man. I try to walk with my mom almost every day. We've had a slow week because I was away. And every time I come back, she's helping someone with something. So we got to get back on track, but I try to hang as much with my dad. We've been watching almost every playoff game. It's been pretty priceless, like just kicking it with my pops and my mom.
Listen, if it makes you happy and it makes them happy, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If someone was texting you at the time you're doing it and they're annoyed, their annoyance really ain't worth the level of the bonding you're doing at that point in time.
Yep.
So.
It's real, man. The balance is so key to me. I used to overwork. I didn't think it was overwork at the time. I was just like, I got to get up on my feet. I got to do whatever. Now I've been a little less.
You were motivated too.
Yeah.
It's different. Like we sacrifice to get what we want. So if you want, that's why I said, like I'd be a hypocrite who said if I was getting the right amount of rest because I'm busting my butt doing what I need to do for multiple artists. And I don't just, it's not just my 2 artists that I manage. Those are the ones I'm contracted with. I help a lot of people. I'm very easily accessible. I get people all the time from all over the country that hit me up and ask questions, and I make myself accessible when I can. And it feels good to know that I'm helping or making a difference in someone. And it doesn't have to have a coin slot on it.
Exactly.
Some people, they don't understand that, though. You can just get pure joy out of helping another human being just because. Like, who? Imagine that. Like the days of, helping an old lady cross the street. That shit doesn't exist. It's not there no more, Meanwhile, some of us will still see a lady with a stroller and help her down the stairs or instead of being in our phone and walking right past.
That's real.
It's just a matter of where you're at mentally and maturely. Like,
that's real, man. No, it's so true. Is there, could you see Migs opening up for an artist that's out there now?
Absolutely.
Who do you what tour do you see it? I know he's going on, what is
Well,
it?
speaking of tours, he's on his own damn tour.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
don't got to open for nobody. He is the tour. Same thing with Drew York. He is the tour, you
Word.
know? But on a grander scale, I mean, there's a lot of people he could probably fit in with.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, he's very, very multi-talented. But this new lane with the new EP is like something none of you have ever heard before. It's more on the sing-songy side. He's telling a little bit more of a story. It's a completely
Sick.
different sound and land that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy. You know, and the people that we've already tested it on, the last couple of shows that we performed it on, it's received real well. You know, and then even while we were out in Toronto, you know, we had the song played in a couple of spots while we were out there, and everyone turned around and was like, "Yo, who's this?" And it's like they were enjoying it, you
That's
know, and they
sick.
turned up. So, you know, that's the kind of reaction he wants. He wants to people to just enjoy and connect with his music, and have a good time and be able to relate, whether it's a sad feeling, a happy feeling. It doesn't matter if he's telling a story. He wants people to feel that story and be able to relate to it, not just talk
That's
about a bunch of nonsense to a hot beat. And you know, I mean, yeah, we can make those songs too, but that's when you know you're just making a song for people to party and turn up to. But
exactly.
if you
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
sung where you're saying something and there's meaning to it, and it came from a place like in your heart, or if a time like you want to be able to make it to where it's people can connect and relate to it and still enjoy it as well.
Real
And that's
talk.
the vibe that Fearless is on.
It's great. I love that word too.
It actually
Excited
came
about.
from when we were out by South by Southwest. It was because of a conversation I had to have with him and Drew, and I was telling him like, listen, you can't step into these rooms with these other performers that maybe are a little bit more known or a little more popular and feel like you're lower or don't belong. Because at the end of the day, you're doing the same thing. These are no longer rappers to you, these are your peers. If you were a New York Yankee and you got traded to the Mets, you're going to be the new guy on the team. But at the end of the day, you're still a damn baseball player and you're still in the league. You know, so if you're in these positions and you're in these rooms and you're in these scenarios with these other people, you're there for a reason. So act accordingly.
Truth.
These are your peers, so stop. You know, and that's where Fearless came from, because he's understanding like he belongs. You know, and you're gonna aspire and you're gonna be where you want to be. You're gonna start acting the way you want to be. You know, understood and respected. So, you know, obviously, if there's certain legends of the game, you're going to pay them homage.
Of course.
But
Yeah,
if
yeah.
someone who just made it, and or people that just made it, like, and you're in the same room, like, you both make music. You could show them a little respect, but at the end of the day, you're not going to fanboy out for them. You know, and I see so many people that get in a room with these same people as us, and they forget that they make music, and they start fanboying or fangirling, and it's like, and I would show them, look, see how they're acting? We don't do that. You know, we're not going to jump up to be the first person to go say hello. We're not going to do all this stuff. Like, and it shows, and it's gets us respect, and it's understood, and that's why we move the way we move. And at the same time, we're also super humble. You know, we're
Yeah,
friendly with
yeah.
everyone. We don't act like nothing. You know, not saying that we are something to be a big deal, but I mean,
No, you
we
guys
got some
definitely.
accolades. Like, I mean,
You are
we
humble,
are doing.
guys.
And but at the end of the day, if you approach us in the street, you're gonna get the same person you knew 5, 10 years ago. We're always gonna be the same people.
Oh, that's so important, man. It's real. It's like you have the discipline, but you remember where you came from. So as you go to new places, you don't forget that shit, and it
Yeah.
just sticks with you, and you keep those principles,
And
and that's just real
if you're an
stuff.
artist in Staten Island, you're an artist in LA, you're an artist in Canada, you're an artist in the UK, you're an artist everywhere you go. No matter where you lay your head or wake up, you're that same artist when you left your house in the morning, wherever you live.
That's real,
And that's
yeah.
what people need to remember and understand. You can't be an artist in your hometown and then go to Brooklyn and see, designer and fresh and be like, oh my God. Like, no, they're your equals now. Those are your peers. Like, they're going to jump on stage, they're going to kill it. Guess what you're about to do? You're going to jump on stage, you're going to kill it the same exact way. And the minute you realize that, the minute you're way ahead of everyone else.
No, that's real. And make dope stuff. You know,
Yeah.
like I think Kid Cudi is just an amazing example of just pure quality music.
And he
That
does what he wants. He
and
didn't
I
worry about what people
yeah
told
yeah,
him what he had to make.
and I think I try to tell people this too. You know, sometimes there's all different lanes you could take, but I'm like, if you kind of help someone make $1 million, most of the time you at least make $100K. And I know he definitely made Kanye 10 million or so with 808s, with just the writing and just the whole vibe. You could almost say like that's almost Kid Cudi's album. You know what I mean? But it wasn't. Kanye was smart enough to produce it and create it and make it as special as it was. But
everyone played a part.
And I think it even goes back to you even being like, you know, Cudi wanted to be the main guy, but like, if you kind of think about it, he kind of wrote that, and that I think that kind of gave him the boost. You know, even if it was a strategy through good music, and
Plus,
they were together the whole
sometimes
time. But
you could be a certain kind of artist that wants to put out a certain sound, but you still have the ability to write a different lane. So it's like, you know what?
Kanye kind of made it pop music.
This doesn't fit the lane that I make, but you know what? I still wrote it. But this would sound dope if he sang it, and we're still going to get to the bag, and the people are still going to get to hear it, and the message is still going to be shared. There is no limits on what you could do with this.
And Kanye made it like pop music. So like once that sound, think about it, like Drake literally came out a month later after 808s. But you know what I mean? Like, what if, you know, this could never happen, but what if Drake came out and 808s wasn't out? I feel like...
What if Drake was directly inspired by that? You know what I mean, who knows?
You know what I mean? I feel like it was in that...
I mean, we're shooting it,
it was
kind
in
of
that,
far.
Yeah.
I mean, it could definitely have had to take in a
It was
small
very
role.
good timing.
There might have been a song or two that got tweaked last minute because he heard that 808 album, because Drake's very much influenced by everything he hears.
And he rapped on Say It, I think.
Yeah.
Say It beat.
I mean, because Drake's not really that original.
Yeah, he's very good at being
Adapting
a chameleon.
to,
He's a chameleon to the game. Like, he could really find...
He'll put his own swag on it. A lot of times he'll just take it and don't even change it at all. But at the end of the day, it's like he just has this niche of being able to make it relevant.
Yeah. And think about it, like Trey Songz, like he even had that sing rap vibe. You know what I mean? So like to even team up with him was probably the best thing he could have done, because it's literally the same. You know what I mean? So why not collab with the guy who has the same sound? And then he kind of found his own lane. It's crazy. And I think that even think about that with Drake too, like there's lots of people in the bag working with him behind the scenes that we didn't even know. You know, like sometimes they did the disses and he's like, this guy wrote your tracks or whatever, but there's hundreds of people writing these records.
Just because someone gets called out for writing the tracks, whatever, a lot of people ghostwrite, and a lot of people use ghostwriters. And it's cool if you're giving credit. A lot of people that try to like drop project after project and act like they're writing their own stuff. The people that act like they're writing their own stuff, but they're not, shame on them. You know, I think people would be a lot more respected to be like, hey, listen, you know, me and so-and-so made a dope project. He did a lot of the writing. Like, just give credit where credit's due. At the end of the day, the public's still going to bump the song. They're not going to look at it differently. But it's when people that act like they're writing it and they're hiding behind the facade, and then you look at the credits of the song, because most fans don't go and look at the credits. You know, and who knows? It doesn't say what percentage of the song was written in the credits anyway.
Exactly.
You know, like, everyone's giving Cardi B a bunch of crap now, but I mean, everyone knew in the beginning, everyone who had enough sense knew that Cardi wasn't writing her own stuff. You know, but she had the sound, she had the look. It's marketing.
Yep.
You know,
it's
again,
a little bit of everything.
A lot of this isn't just based on talent and sound, it's based on the look and the image and the marketing.
Real talk.
You know, and it's unfortunate, but
Sci-Hi the Prince. Think of him. Like, he could probably... The new Ye album. We don't know what it's called. Maybe Yandi, maybe not. Sci-Hi the Prince is working right now. You know what I mean? And, like, he could put out that project. It would hit. But you know what I mean? He kind of found the voice to kind of put his voice through. You know, sometimes it's not always through your own vocal cords. It's going through a...
But then again, if he found a big name to put it out there and show his talent, but then he can jump on a track or two and kind of sneak his way into the door. If he would have put that whole project out by himself, it probably wouldn't do half as good as Kanye having the platform already.
Exactly.
You know, even if Kanye would have jumped on maybe one or two of his songs, it still wouldn't have the same effect.
It's almost looking at it like, oh, he's using Kanye. But now, if you actually see it, they're both using each other, like, properly.
I wouldn't even say they're using each other. They're being smart. They're collaborating.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? People forgot that word collaboration.
I say that using because Kanye actually made a book. It's called Thank You and You're Welcome, and there's a page where he says, "Get used to being used."
Oh, absolutely.
So it's kind of like a reference back to
but
that.
that's when people collaborate, but they're not being honest about the collaboration. That's what he means.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's people that they definitely are going above and beyond because they know, okay, this stamp is going to help get, my passport across,
So what he was saying too in it, he was like, if you're not being used, you're useless. So he's like,
Facts.
Get used to being used. Like,
if you're not being used, that means you're not wanted, bro. Like, that's bad. So.
I remember getting that at Glow in the Dark tour, and that was a cool, really cool show. What would you say probably is the coolest hip hop concert you've been to that wasn't Migs at SOB's?
That's rough. I would have to say it was probably Biggie and the Lox. I forgot the venue because this is years and years ago. It might have been at Club Callaloo on Eastern Parkway and Ocean Avenue. It wasn't even like a big known venue.
Nice.
But like the nostalgic and the fact that it was like right there, right in the heart of Brooklyn, and like the vibe and everything, it was just so impactful. And like, it didn't matter who was in the building. Everyone knew all the words. No one cared, and it was just like all a vibe. Everyone was there for the music, and the music just united everybody.
Sick, bro.
I
think new Lox album's coming out. I saw Styles tweet the other day.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm interested to see how that goes.
It's gonna be on Rock Nation, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing.
So mine, Eminem show. I think it was 2001. I had to be 19, maybe. No, 17. I got arrested for selling weed when I was in like high school. I was punished for over 2 months in summer. I did not leave my home, bro. Being punished in the summer when everyone's out every day, it's super hot out, bro. And I remember Eminem show came out during that time, bro. I played that like every day because I'm home. I'm working out, bro. I remember I got to school after that summer, bro. I was jacked.
He treated it like jail time.
So I literally had the Blockbuster pass. It was like the monthly pass for like $50, and you rent unlimited games or something like that. I went through mad games. That was all I did, bro. I remember when he came to East Rutherford, I went absolutely insane because it was the buildup of so much aggression and like just wanting to get out. And then my mom was like, "Of course, David, you could come, but I'm coming with you, and I'm sitting next to you in between your cousin." I'm like, "That's fine." I went. It was just that moment. People may be like, "Oh, that wasn't."
Did mom turn up with you?
She had fun. She
Yeah,
definitely
that's
had fun.
lit. That's lit.
And just that moment was special. And then Glow in the Dark tour after that. But oh man, that Lox Biggie event, that's sick, bro.
It was Lox, Biggie, and Junior Mafia actually all together.
Get money.
Yeah.
That's sick, bro. Bro, it's exciting to see you and your crew hustle. I'm really hype about the Fearless EP. I think by the time this episode comes out, it will be out. So it's coming out May 31st. So this episode's coming out probably in June.
Okay.
So make sure to cop that. Fearless EP, MiG 718.
Yes, sir. 4 tracks.
Movado is my jam.
Oh, the Movado visual is coming out.
Is that on? Is that on Fearless?
The Movado video will probably be out by the time this comes out.
Sick.
But we're dropping. It should be out within a few days.
Is it on Fearless?
No, Movado's already out.
Nice.
Out everywhere.
It's its own
as
thing.
A single, as its own thing.
Sick.
So Fearless is 4 new tracks. It's going to be in no particular order: Two Door, Blessings, 12, and Tony Montana.
Sick. Make sure to cop that MiG 718 Fearless EP. Also check out the Blue Pill, Red Pill project by Drew York.
Yes, sir.
All fire. And where can people catch you?
At Mike Loco on Instagram, the Mike Loco on Twitter, but everything else is Mike Loco. Easy to find, easy to get in touch with. Send a DM, say hello. I answer back. If I can help you in any way, or if you have any questions, or if you just want something checked out, you want whatever, just shoot me a message, man. I'll try. I'd be glad to help.
Yeah, reach out to Mike Loco. I was definitely posting about this hashtag gem alert, and definitely it was. Got a lot of gems. So, yeah, yo, and, don't stop dreaming. For anyone who's tuned in, Maker Park Radio is a free streaming community radio station that is listener supported.
And the beauty about dreams is they don't only happen at night, because that's why there's daydreaming. You could dream while you're awake, while you're sleeping. It doesn't matter. It's Never stop dreaming, like this man preaches. Never stop.
Real talk. Don't stop dreaming. Just to give you a heads up, all DJs are volunteers on this station, and the station needs your support for overhead costs, streaming fees, and equipment upgrades. Any donation is greatly appreciated, because Maker Park Radio is a 501c3 nonprofit. It's also tax deductible, so if you're in a good mood and you get a little write-off situation on that too, please donate to NYC's only true community radio station. You could click on the donate button at makerparkradio.nyc. Any donation is great and needed to keep the music going. All of the DJs here at Maker Park, thank you so much, including me. And this is episode 46. I'm going to play one track off that album I was talking about a little bit early. And make sure to tune into Shoo Shoo and Lemonade right after this.